Hi everyone, welcome to the next session of Geotechnical Engineering 2. The subject is of chapter is earth pressure theories. In last two classes we have discussed about the different types of earth retaining structures, as well as we have seen the various type of classifications of earth retaining structures, as well as we have discussed about the earth pressure theory, what is meant by lateral earth pressure theory, what is meant by earth pressure at rest condition, what is meant by active earth pressure, what is meant by passive earth pressure. These are the different topics we have covered in our last chapter. Today we will see how practically the earth pressures are calculating for to design any type of a earth retaining structures. Again, one more time I will recall the topics what we have discussed: earth pressure at rest condition, active earth pressure, and passive earth pressure. Earth pressure at rest condition means, suppose if you construct any rigid retaining wall, for this rigid retaining wall, behind the wall the soil which is present, that we are calling it as a backfill. In earth pressure at rest condition, the wall is rigid and it is not going to in any side, either in a forward side or either in a backward side. That is in rest condition. That means what is the soil available here besides the behind the wall, it does not creating any pressure on the wall. In such situation we are calling it as a earth pressure at a rest condition. As well as we have discussed about the active earth pressure. In active earth pressure, the soil what is available behind the wall, it creates some pressure on the wall. Due to creation of this pressure, the wall may move away from the backfill. From this horizontal ground surface, the wall what you are providing, that is moving away from the backfill. In those conditions we are calling it as a active earth pressure. Whereas in passive earth pressure, the wall creating some pressure on the soil itself. In those conditions we are naming it as a passive earth pressure or passive resistance of the soil. If you observe for different type of soil conditions, the earth pressure it will may vary. If you observe any type of retaining structure, the backfill what we are providing, either it may be cohesive soil or cohesionless soil. That means the soil what you are providing behind the backfill may be consist of either cohesive soil or cohesionless soil or cohesive friction soil. These are the different type of soil conditions available in the construction of any type of a structure. First we will solve the earth pressure at a rest condition. We will solve earth pressure at a rest condition. That means if you consider this case as earth pressure at rest condition, how the pressure will create on the wall for earth pressure at a rest condition. I am writing here the condition what I am taking. I am taking the condition as earth pressure at rest condition. Earth pressure at a rest condition. That means the wall is rigid and does not going to yield in any direction. The creating pressure of soil on the wall is 0. In those situation we are naming it as a earth pressure at a rest condition. For explaining this earth pressure at rest condition, I am considering one rigid retaining wall. I am taking here one retaining wall. See, this is the retaining wall and here this is the soil. What is the soil available here? It is filled with the soil, either dry soil or moist soil or cohesive soil or cohesionless soil. That means based on the type of the soil availability, the pressure creating on the wall it will may vary. Suppose if you consider here, this is the retaining wall. Okay, this is the retaining wall. For this retaining wall we are taking this height of retaining wall as h. The total height of the retaining wall we are naming it as capital H. And if you observe here, the soil what is available here, the soil is cohesionless soil. That means the soil what is available here, we are taking in earth pressure at rest condition as cohesionless soil. For this cohesionless soil, we are taking the unit weight of the soil mass as a gamma. Unit weight of the soil mass as a gamma. That means the soil may be dry unit weight or moist unit weight or submerged unit weight based on the situation of the soil present in the water. Okay, if you observe here, earth pressure at rest condition, the pressure what is available here, it creates some pressure on the wall. The pressure what is creating on the wall, it resists that soil pressure in a rest condition. Whereas if you take the active earth pressure, in active earth pressure, the wall will may move away from the backfill. In those conditions, we are naming it as a active earth pressure. Before calculating this earth pressure at rest condition, I will explain the how we have to calculate the vertical pressure. After calculation of this vertical pressure, we will calculate the horizontal pressure. Suppose here I am taking one natural ground surface. Okay, I am taking here some natural ground surface. From this natural ground surface, we are having the soil below this ground level. Suppose here I am considering one soil element. For this soil element, I want to know how much amount of pressure is creating on that particular soil element. Suppose I am naming the soil element as A and I am considering this soil element at a depth of Z. And above the soil element, we are having the soil above the soil element. And again, if you consider above the ground level, the soil may subjected to either external loading or superstructure weight as well as footing as well as foundation load. Suppose if you consider here in this element, I am taking one soil element. If you consider this soil element, due to the weight of the soil as well as due to weight of the superstructure, due to weight of the foundation, all these loads will creating some pressure on the soil element. For the soil element, how much amount of pressure is creating, that I want to know. If you observe here, see, this is the pressure creating on the soil in the entire element. This is the amount of weight acting on the soil mass. For this condition, what I am doing means, I am considering the only the self weight of the soil mass. That means what is the soil available here, the soil creating the pressure on the soil element at a depth of Z only due to the self weight of the soil. I am not considering any superstructure loads. I am not considering any foundation loads. I am considering only the self weight of the soil mass. That means how much amount of weight is acting on the soil element. Now I am interested to calculate that weight. How the stress creating on the soil element. Now I am writing. If you see here, where weight or force acting on the soil element at a depth of Z at A equal to, where W is the weight of the soil or force of the soil acting on the soil element. We know the formula for density or unit weight. Unit weight of the formula equal to gamma equal to weight by volume. That means weight of the soil element to the volume of the soil element. If you substitute, you will get the unit weight of the soil. Now I want to calculate the weight of the soil creating on the soil element at A, where W equal to, that means weight of the soil element equal to gamma. Gamma is the unit weight of the soil available here, as well as V, where V is the volume of the soil element. The soil element, what, how much amount of in this particular cross section the soil creating the weight, that we have to calculate the volume. That means weight of the soil element W equal to gamma into, where volume is nothing but depth into area of the cross section of the soil element. That means gamma into Z into A. This is the weight of the soil creating on the element pressure. The self weight of the soil creating on the soil element at a depth of Z at point A, W equal to gamma into Z into A, where gamma is the unit weight of the soil mass, Z is the depth of the soil element, and capital A is the cross sectional area of the soil element. Now I want to calculate the stress acting in this particular point. stress acting in this particular point. That means vertical stress at sigma z, how much pressure it's creating in this particular soil element. Now I want to calculate. For this, how we can calculate means where stress, vertical stress sigma z equal to, stress is nothing but resisting force per unit area, or stress or force by area. This force by area is nothing but W divided by A. This is the formula for vertical stress or stress. And where W is the weight of the soil element. Already we calculated this weight of the soil element as gamma into Z into A divided by, where capital A is the cross sectional area of the soil element. A I am substituting. If you cancelling both numerator and denominator the cross sectional area, you will get the vertical stress sigma z equal to, vertical stress sigma z equal to gamma into z. Vertical stress sigma z equal to gamma into z. This is the amount of pressure creating acting on the soil elements. This vertical stress is most important in your entire chapter. The vertical stress, you have to remember it as gamma into z. Vertical stress is nothing but unit weight of the soil mass what is available here into the cross sectional depth of the soil element. Suppose the soil what is available here, we are considering it as a dry unit weight or bulk unit weight, hence why we are naming it as gamma. Otherwise, if the soil is completely filled with water, in those conditions we are naming it as a submerged condition. That means the unit weight of the soil mass we are taking it as a gamma prime or gamma submersion. In those conditions we are taking the vertical stress at a point A at particular depth Z. We are taking the vertical stress as gamma prime into Z. Whereas in dry condition we have to take this value as gamma D. Based on the type of the soil condition, we have to calculating the vertical pressure. Already earth pressure at rest condition, active earth pressure, passive earth pressure we have discussed. In earth pressure at rest condition, by definition it is defined as the ratio of horizontal effective vertical pressure to the vertical effective pressure. By definition itself, it is the ratio of horizontal pressure to the vertical pressure. That means how much amount of horizontal pressure is acting on the soil element, as well as how much amount of vertical pressure is acting on the soil element, that we have to calculate. If you see in this particular soil element, this is the amount of vertical pressure acting on the soil, and where in lateral direction sigma h, this is the amount of horizontal pressure acting on the soil element. Okay, for this discussion we will take this diagram earth pressure at rest condition. Earth pressure at rest condition, we are having different type of assumptions. That means soil is homogeneous, elastic, as well as the soil what we are calculating the Poisson ratio. Based on that Poisson ratio, we will calculate the soil mass for earth pressure at rest condition. Okay, now we will see the derivation for earth pressure at rest condition. If you consider here, this is the earth pressure at rest condition. Earth pressure at rest condition means the horizontal pressure divided by vertical pressure will give some coefficient constant with respect to that the wall. It does not move at any side. That means the wall will not move to at any side. If you consider in this diagram earth pressure at rest condition, the soil here what we are taking here, in this soil element, this is the vertical pressure and this is the horizontal pressure. Suppose in this picture, in this figure, I am considering one soil element. Suppose this is our retaining wall. For this retaining wall at some particular depth, I am considering this weight of the, I am considering one element of the soil mass. For this element of the soil mass, there is, for this element of the soil mass, the vertical stress is acting in this direction, as well as the horizontal stress is calculating in this direction, from this in this upward direction, and again in this upward direction the vertical pressure is creating, as well as in a forward direction, in backward direction the horizontal pressure is creating on the soil element. If you calculate the how much amount of vertical pressure acting on the soil element to the ratio of the horizontal element, you will get the coefficient of earth pressure at a rest condition. So, earth pressure at rest condition, what we are naming it as? We are naming it as the horizontal pressure what we are creating on the wall. We are naming it as, we are taking it as 0. That means we know the formula, Hooke's law. Hooke's law, what we are having Hooke's law means stress is directly proportional to strain. That means if you take any one elastic body and if you apply the load, due to this application of the force, the member will may deform, and again if you remove the load, the member will may get into the original position. Based on that stress strain concept, based on that Hooke's law concept, we are calculating the horizontal pressure as well as vertical pressure. If you consider in this rigid retaining wall, earth pressure at rest condition, in a horizontal direction the wall is not going to in any direction, hence why we are taking strain in horizontal direction equal to 0. We know the formula for earth pressure at rest condition from Hooke's law: stress by strain equal to E, where stress by strain equal to E is the Young's modulus, where sigma is the stress acting on the soil element, epsilon is the strain acting on the mass element, where E is the modulus of elasticity. Based on the elastic property of the material, the stress strain it will may vary. For earth pressure at rest condition, we are taking horizontal strain will be equal to 0. From this concept, we are calculating the active earth pressure at a rest condition. For this, what we are doing means, suppose if I am considering the horizontal strain in a horizontal direction equal to 0, that means strain in a horizontal direction equal to 0, epsilon h equal to 0. For this, what we are having sigma h by E minus mu into sigma h by E minus mu into sigma v by E equal to 0. This is the formula. We are taking it from the Hooke's law. Okay, if you see your basic strength of materials, from this strength of materials we are calculating this horizontal pressure as well as vertical pressure. For this element, if you create the certain amount of load, for this amount of load the member will may deform in horizontal direction as well as in a vertical direction. And if you substitute these parameters, you will get the horizontal stress as well as vertical stress in terms of Poisson's ratio, where E in three sides we are neglecting. That means numerator and denominator we are cancelling the all types E. Then we will have the sigma h minus mu into sigma h minus mu into sigma u. Sigma h I am cancelling. If you cancel the sigma h into 1 minus mu, where minus mu into sigma v equal to 0. Okay, and again if you calculate this sigma h value, sigma h into 1 minus mu equal to, I am taking this minus mu into sigma v to left side to the 0. Then you will have the mu into sigma v, where sigma h is the horizontal pressure creating on the soil element, where sigma v is the vertical pressure creating on the soil element. If you see here, sigma h into 1 minus mu equal to mu into sigma v. From this, now I am interested to calculate the sigma h value. For this sigma h value, how we are calculating? Bringing that sigma h to sigma v side. That means sigma h into 1 minus mu equal to mu into sigma v. Okay, that equal to sigma h by sigma v equal to sigma equal to sigma h into 1 minus mu equal to mu into sigma v. Sigma v take to right side and 1 minus mu take it to left side. That means sigma h by sigma v equal to mu divided by 1 minus mu divided by 1 minus mu. This is the formula coefficient of earth pressure at a rest condition, where sigma h by sigma v equal to mu divided by 1 minus mu. We are naming it as coefficient of earth pressure at a rest condition. For this coefficient of earth pressure at rest condition, we are naming it as K naught. Coefficient of earth pressure at rest condition, we are naming it as K naught. Again, if you observe here, the horizontal pressure sigma h equal to K naught into sigma into V. K naught into sigma V, where sigma h is the horizontal pressure, K naught is the earth pressure coefficient at rest condition, sigma V is the vertical pressure creating on the soil element. Again, I am writing here sigma V. Already I have explained about the how we have to calculate the vertical pressure at any particular depth. Suppose if you consider in this soil element, okay, if you consider this soil element, I am taking this soil element, how much amount of pressure is creating at a particular depth Z. Okay, if you consider this soil element at a particular depth Z, I am taking this soil element at this particular position, at this particular depth, how much amount of vertical pressure is acting on the soil element, as well as how much amount of horizontal pressure is acting on the soil element, that I am interested to calculate. Again, if you consider here the soil, I am taking it as a gamma is the unit weight of the soil. That soil may be either dry unit weight or bulk unit weight or saturated or submerged condition. Based on the type of the condition given here, that unit weight we have to consider. If you see here, already I explained the vertical pressure creating on the soil, we are taking it as unit weight of the soil mass into in which particular depth the pressure is creating. That depth we have to substitute. That means vertical pressure creating at soil element sigma Z equal to where gamma is the unit weight of the soil mass into depth of the soil mass at particular depth Z. That means sigma Z or sigma V, vertical pressure equal to gamma into Z. If you substitute in this diagram, in this equation, the horizontal pressure sigma V equal to K naught into where sigma V is the vertical pressure acting on the soil element. The vertical pressure acting on the soil element as gamma into Z. Okay, this is the amount of horizontal pressure acting on the wall when the wall is in a rigid condition. This sigma h may be in some condition, they will name it as P naught. Okay, the horizontal pressure we can represent also as a P naught. That means horizontal pressure at a rest condition, P naught equal to K naught into gamma into Z. Horizontal pressure P naught equal to K naught into gamma into Z. This is the amount of pressure creating on the wall. Again, if you see for this earth retaining structure, the pressure is varying from linearly from top of the wall to the bottom of the wall. Suppose this is your rigid retaining wall. For this rigid retaining wall, if you are going from top of the wall to the bottom of the wall, the pressure creating on the wall, it will may linearly vary. The horizontal pressure at top of the wall, we are taking it as 0, and the horizontal pressure at bottom, it will give the maximum amount of horizontal pressure. Up to now, this is the formula for calculation of horizontal pressure at rest condition. If you consider this earth pressure for this entire diagram, you will get the total horizontal pressure. This total horizontal pressure we are getting as P naught equal to, see, if you see here in this bottom, the amount of pressure creating equal to K naught into gamma into H. P equal to K naught into gamma into H. Again, if you consider at particular depth, the horizontal pressure creating equal to P naught equal to K naught into gamma into Z. The horizontal pressure at bottom at total depth H equal to K naught into gamma into H. If you consider at particular depth Z, the horizontal pressure P naught equal to K naught into gamma Z. If you want to calculate the total horizontal pressure, for this total horizontal pressure, nothing but area of this triangle. What is the area of the triangle? Area of the triangle equal to half into base into height. That means the total horizontal pressure acting on the wall at rest condition P naught equal to half into P naught equal to half into K naught into gamma into H into H. This is the pressure creating on the wall for entire wall. If you substitute again this formula, P naught equal to half into K naught into gamma into H square. This is the total horizontal pressure creating on the wall for the rest condition, where K naught is the earth pressure at rest condition. We are taking it from the Poisson's ratio. That Poisson's ratio is nothing but mu by 1 minus mu naught, where that will call it as a coefficient of earth pressure at a rest condition. And gamma is the unit weight of the soil we are taking from the backfill, and H is the total height of the soil mass. Again, if they want to calculate the total earth pressure at 3 meters, then just you have to substitute that particular depth of the soil mass. Up to now, this is the calculation procedure for earth pressure at a rest condition. Then there is one more formula to calculate the earth pressure at rest condition. Next class we will see.